in shootouts. We're like, God damn, man. Is there anybody over there you don't want to shoot?
Then I represent him on a homicide case where he killed one person and the other person he thought he killed, but the guy lived.
We consider ourselves hitmen, murder for hire incorporated. You know, you got the money, we got the gun.
Reggie was driving down the street on the east side. He saw that he'd been looking for Roussel. Reggie Brown started chasing him in the car, jumped out of the car, ran in the house, shot Roussel dead, shot the other guy, thought he was dead, and the guy lived. And I can tell you from experience, not just this case, the hardest case there is when you think you killed somebody and the guy lives and identifies you. So he got convicted and Judge Crockett gave him life. They were cold guys. I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things where you wonder, I met the father, I met the mother. The father worked in the factory his whole life. Mother was regular, normal citizen.
In December of '86, unknown assailants shot Ezra and Terrence Brown in the head as they sat in a car near the 7th Precinct. Ezra died, but Terrence Boog Brown survived by throwing a brick through the precinct's front window to alert the police of the shooting before he collapsed on the sidewalk. A week later, Gregory Ghost Brown is gunned down on Peter Hunt Street, still wearing the suit he'd just worn to his brother's funeral. Having added trained killer Nate Boone Craft to their team of shooters, the surviving Brown brothers, Terrence and Rockin' Reg, decided to exact revenge for their brother's death by taking over the city, one kingpin at a time. First up was their so-called partner, Maserati Rick.
That was his problem. At the apartment, Maserati Rick introduced Boo to his Colombian connect, Mike. I'm watching Boo and I'm saying, oh shit. Basically, I just stayed with him because at that time, Ed was riding around trying to find him. Ed had already shot up a white van that looked like Maserati, but it wasn't. It was some white couple that just happened to be driving down that street and got shot at. Boo calls me and tells me, man, they just shot Rick on the west side, man. Where the hell was you at? Jim rode around the car wash looking. We rode up and down the streets. We stopped at the fish shop. We listened to what people were saying and so forth. So we went to the hospital and talked to him. But at that time, Boo was pissed off like, hey, man, the word on the street that we bitches. That's what you talking about. They shot Rick, man. The word is that we ain't doing nothing to protect him. And Rick talking about don't go after the people. Boo pulls up. He steps over and said, man, what's up? I said, no, what's up on you? He said, man, I thought you was going to stay away from Rick. I said, no, Rick's still paying me. Man, he can't be paying you laying up in the hospital. And plus, the guy said that as long as we pay his bill, he don't care what happened to Rick. Yeah, the Colombian said as long as somebody pay that bill, he don't care what happened to Rick. Basically, the Colombian is saying that he don't give a fuck if you do something to him again. He said, who you down with? Us or him? I'm down with whoever got the money. And you should know that.
Officials say 2 men were seen near his room when the shooting was discovered.
Really, we don't have a whole lot of details other than the fact that some people saw 2 men.
Maserati Rick's beef with Big Ed Hansard supposedly was at the heart of his murder, but no one has ever been convicted.
Maz is dead, man. We want you down with us, Boone. We want you down with us. I said, man, I'm down with whoever got the money. He said, okay, that's all I want to hear, man. Everybody gonna think that jerk did it, man. So we clean on this. But we gotta go to the funeral, though, dude. Make sure, that people know that we there. We still bagging up Maserati and life or death.
A Maserati. All those names were as big as Mike Tyson and Tommy Hearns and so forth. White Boy Rick. I mean, White Boy was legendary.
If not one of the biggest drug dealers in Detroit's history, Richard White Boy Rick Wershey is certainly one of the most well-known.
If Rick Wershey would have been anything other than white, nobody had ever heard of him. The fact of the matter was, it was so novel to the media, to the public, that here was this white kid that was in Detroit and was supposed to be this big, huge kingpin. Well, I mean, he was 17 years old. There's no damn way White Boy Rick, or Rick Wershey, was the biggest drug guy in Detroit at the age of 7. It's ridiculous.
From January 87 to late 87, that whole kind of year, he was it in Detroit in terms of media gangster. And the newspapers followed him. He was eventually charged with possession of 8 kilos of cocaine.
One day we followed him. He went to Kathy's house, We sitting there watching, waiting for him to come back out. Then all of a sudden, the car pulled up. 2 guys stepped out. I'm like, we checked around, and from what we get, it was the Curry brother that sent somebody to do that. Because he in there screwing one of the Curry brothers' wife.
At the same time, he was walking around with Johnny Curry's wife. Not only the fact that she was attractive, but the fact that she was the mayor's niece.
There was a federal indictment. I represented Johnny before the federal indictment. Again, pistol case, and they had the usual. It was the usual federal case. They had wiretaps, good wiretaps that killed us.
You know, just having her on his arm gave him a lot of weight. It came out in court documents that Mayor Young had actually told Hart to assign an entire security detail to follow Wershey and Volson around on a daily basis, but to in no way make any arrests or stop any criminal activity, but to simply be there in case gunfire was to break out, to go corral Kathy and take her away from harm.
Then we followed him from over on, I think it was Hayes Street. He had a spot over there. By the time we pulled up on the side of White Boy Rick at the light at Dickinson and Outer Drive, slid back that door, sprayed him, but the Mac got stuck. Brew was like, man, don't let this motherfucker get away. He took off.
Wershey became linked to the best friends in the media when members showed up at his trial.
Well, we went down there to make sure that he didn't get off. We down there in jury's jail pretending we his crew.
When he went to trial, this whole entourage of assholes show up, with their pants on backwards and
Their plan was for Wershey to get convicted so the best friends could assassinate him in state prison.
We just wanted to make sure that boy didn't get out from underneath what he got.
Trial lasts a couple weeks. Jury's out for, I believe, 4 or 5 days. Comes back guilty. Rick gets life in prison without possibility of parole. He had recently just turned 18 years old. His run is over, and his life is over in a lot of ways.
After finding himself in danger from both Rockin' Reg and Boone in Michigan State Prison, White Boy Rick called the feds, entered witness protection, and helped initiate a massive police corruption case.
It eventually came out, the fact that Rick then helped them build a case against Kathy's father, Willie, and Jimmy Harris, who was Mayor Coleman Young's chief of security, indicted and Rick helped them build a case for running a protection ring for drug dealers.
And the fact that he's still in jail is obscene. Having nothing to do with, I understand he cooperated, whether he did or he didn't. The fact that kid is still in jail, these 25 years later, is obscene. Because whatever he was a kid. He was just a kid.
Keeping him locked up somehow is in the public good in their perception because he represents that era.
He knew a lot of information. The contract was on him for $100,000 at that point. I ain't mention no name, but the political figures, they offered half of it to get that boy. We damn near killed every goddamn body there was to be killed. Those that we didn't kill ran and left the state. Those that did left the state went to prison. Big James and them was already dead. Curry brothers, Chambers brothers.
October 88. The Chambers brothers are convicted in federal court for running dozens of crack houses across the city, generating millions of dollars a month.
It was all about money, homie, power at that time. Everybody wanted the power.
Also in October of 88, best friend's hitman, Nathaniel Boone Craft, is sentenced to a short stint in prison for drug possession.
I go to prison. While I'm in prison, my little brother get killed. I come home to the funeral. People telling me this and telling me that Boo was behind and this and that. Bruiser told me exactly what went down and how. He said, man, Andre went to Boo and got some dope. He was over on 12th and Calvin, selling out that apartment there. Boo found the dope by. He had told Andre, man, that's a bad idea, man, to keep getting from Boo. I decided to set their ass up with the DEA. So I went to the DEA and told them the situation. Did this, man. This dude was responsible for my little brother's death, and I want to help y'all get him, because I know y'all looking for him. So they prefer to have Boo and let me go for my participation.
Despite working with the DEA, Nate Boone Craft went to do one last hit with the best friends.
Well, I had no choice. Either go with them or they would have killed me right then and there. So they shoot him to stop him from going so they could finish the guy in the back. They opened the door of the cab, Luck did, emptied the M16 in his ass. Then, a few seconds later, I felt like somebody was pushing me.
After killing the target and the cab driver, Chuck Wilkes and Lucky shot Boone in an assassination attempt.
That's me getting hit in the back, chest, arm, leg, and so forth. But they say that, oh, it was an accident.
Boone lived but was charged and convicted for second-degree murder in the cab driver's death.
That fucked my deal.
Terrence Boog Brown never made it to the Best Friends trial. He was killed in Atlanta and wrapped in his polo bed sheets by other members of the inner circle of Best Friends on the eve of making a $600,000 cocaine purchase.
Because they felt that, hey, Boo having us knock off everybody in the group. You can't be best friends if you're doing your own friends. And that's what Boo was doing. Boo was knocking off his own people.
Steve Fishman defended Thomas K.O. Carr in the Best Friends trial.
Best Friends got indicted in federal court. I represented Thomas Carr. I mean, everybody, they had about 45 or 50 dead people in this trial. Most dead bodies I've ever had, where they actually charged it and tried to. They only tried to prove, I think, and did prove, because the jury found them guilty of them, maybe 7 or 8. But when you would cross-examine the witnesses, well, that was when so-and-so, Walter Daniels, got killed on Gratiot. Talking about murder was like talking about, your dog ran in front of a car. I mean, it was just. Nathaniel Kraft testified in the Best Friends case. He really needed to be on TV in one of those detective or police movies because he played the role of the tough guy and the big hitman. He scared the shit out of a couple of the lawyers. He claimed he was a hitman for the Best Friends, and he killed this guy or he killed that guy, and he was smart. He's a smart guy. Look, he basically was advertising. If you want someone killed, call me. I mean, that's basically what his testimony was. He got convicted of everything, and then the next thing I heard, he cooperated, and he's out. He got a sentence reduction, and he got Rule 35, they call it. And he cooperated, and I know he's out.
So far, I don't know one that haven't cooperated. That's why they just get life in prison without parole.
They brought in Charles Wilkes, and he admitted to 15 homicides, 12. They gave him like a 15-year cap. He's out. Lock your doors and windows. He's out. But, yeah, it was a murder case. It was a mass murder case is what it was.
If they wouldn't have killed my little brother, none of this would have happened. We'd all still been out there doing our thing. But that brought down Best Friends.
After the Best Friends trial, Boone entered witness protection.
The D got a badass rep, man, you know what I mean? And it's only a few of us out here, man, that now went in, man, and they ain't never ratted on nobody, guys.
But they put them in a position where they don't have any choice other than to make deals with people. And I've found over time that very often, guys whose reputation in the street is, they never tell, they all do life, they all walk on nails with no shoes on. They have been, but they don't really tell, they don't come in and testify, they just give information, let's say, about people they don't like, or people they're at war with, and it's one of the vagaries of being involved in these kinds of cases.
Sammy the Bull, all the motherfuckers was in there. I was in there with Sammy the Bull, White Boy Red.
How the fuck do you tell a motherfucker and go to jail? Like the motherfuckers who ratted on me. Them dumb bitches was sitting up in jail with me. What was the point of telling?
When I got there, White Boy Rick had signed me in, and next morning I met with him and told him the deal was. I said, man, did this, man. I knew what happened at the state prison. You thought I was coming in to hit you, which was true. But here, I'm not down like that no more. I'm just like you. I'm a snitch, a turncoat, a fink, or whatever people want to call me. But I call it getting back at the niggas that killed my brother.
Cereal, no milk. This is in a sink. Go the brother running around getting money wearing minks. Won't buy nothing to eat. Always buy drinks. Get the whole house drunk. Then shit pop off. Mama boyfriend tripping about a dime got lost. Mine is lost. Smoke a blunt.
Detroit. Police there were called in to break up scuffles after tens of thousands of people turned out to apply for grants from the federal government for housing and utilities. As the desperate crowd got larger, some people fainted, others fought.
The city got enough federal money to help 3,500 families pay rent and utilities, but police say 35,000 showed up instead.
This is a travesty. I've never seen anything like this in my life.
And then tempers started to flare.
It's ridiculous. People falling out, fighting, this is crazy.
At least 5 people were hurt in scuffles. Some fainted. More than 100 police officers tried to calm an anxious crowd faced with too much desperation and too few resources.
I am Pastor Spencer T. Ellis. I pastor the church in the northwest side of Detroit in the Brightmoor community called Citadel of Praise. Brightmoor is